A very good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present over here, teachers. I'm extremely sorry for the difficulties in joining the session because of some issues with the Zoom server, and that's how I'm not able to start on time. I hope everyone is able to hear and see me clearly. Welcome back to another Super Sunday workshop on another topic, interesting topic, the art of integration. Now, this particular aspect, one integration and this particular topic right now we have chosen considering the exams that are around the corner and some sample papers. Now the main aspect of competency based education is the ability of a student to use the knowledge, skills and attitude in order to solve a real life problem. Now, when we talk about any concept that's present in any subject, it's important for the students to actually use them in their day-to-day life and come up with an idea that can solve a problem, or an idea that can actually create something new and be quite disruptive in nature. Disruptive in the sense something really advanced than what was there before, so that it can benefit human life. Now, when we talk about competency-based education, we try to come up with multiple pedagogies. One of the most common and the famous pedagogy that was discussed in the last academic year was the art integration into the curriculum. Well, today we are going to talk about the art of integration and not really the art integration as such. And this topic is very deep rooted in our culture, in our heritage since a long time. And we used to have this nice system called as Gurukul system, and from there it actually began, and people started in the year around 1830s, when there was an invasion happening from various countries. The education started becoming modernized. It was changing as per the education system that was prevalent in the country, or in the rule or reign of the people who actually captured the other nations. Well, we have certain videos to be looked into that will give a very good perspective on what we are exactly getting into. But this particular aspect is really important for all the teachers to know out there. Some of the methods with which these integration used to happen, which is mentioned in NEP as well, and even in the national curriculum framework, is the buddy teaching, the concept of flipped classroom and blended learning. All are in support of something called as integration in education. That's what we're going to talk about. And before getting on into it, let's get on with the video and the screen. Let me share the screen for the first time. uh, Double sound, lot of echo. I can hear that. Give me a moment, teacher. Teachers, is the echo still present? Please let me know if the echo is still present. And I'm really sorry if the audio is not clear. If the audio is clear for the other people, do let me know. Perfectly fine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lot better now. No echo. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. There were two mics that were on actually. Some people say it's not clear. Please check your audio connections, teachers. I would like to go forward with the session right now, and let's quickly get on to this. You will definitely like the session today from various angles. We're not really going to get into the BEd technicalities of what is interdisciplinary, what is cross-disciplinary, all those terminologies that you already know, and the resources are available in plenty. But the science of integration actually dates back to way better logic than that. uh, can somebody tell me, like, I think you all know this, the most important organ of our body responsible for thought process? Could you please put it on the chat? What could be considered as the most important organ of our body responsible for thought process? Brain. Yes, brain is the answer. And for all the people who are saying about the certificates, you'll be receiving it tomorrow or by day after tomorrow, teachers. Brain. Yeah, brain is the most important organ. Absolutely, brain. Well, actually, it seems that when Gurukul system actually got initiated in the beginning days, they did not actually focus on brain directly. It's supposed to be like something more important than brain is actually responsible for better thought process. You can please put it on the chat if you know that. Neuron is actually a very close answer. Can somebody please tell me what is the most important organ of a body responsible for the thought process? Yeah, Barnali ma'am says eyes. Sushma ma'am also says eyes. No, Sushma ma'am. Okay, somebody said that. Yeah, Charanjit ma'am already said that. Central nervous system, Nidhi ma'am. Okay, more than nerve cell. Well, nerves are more from the perspective of carriers of information. Well, here we are actually not talking about brain or cerebrum or cerebral hemisphere. We are going to get into heart is fine. Okay, the power is always there. Listening is a very good point that you mentioned. Uma Devi ma'am, you're absolutely correct. Rajni ma'am, you're absolutely correct. Actually, the most important organ of a body responsible for thought process is actually the sense organs. Mind is more like a seat. You're absolutely correct. The sense organs are responsible for getting information from the surrounding and transmitting it to the brain. If these transmitting doesn't happen to the brain, then the brain is actually kind of useless. Well, there is quite a complex theory right after that. The brain is the one which is actually controlling the sense organs. However, having said that, sense organs are the first input devices of human body. Unless and until my five senses do not really activate and work properly, my brain really cannot process information. The brain tries maximum to process information with the minimum information that is available only from sense organs. It can be hearing through ears, or it can be seeing through eyes, or it can be feeling with the tongue and the skin, and probably the smell of a particular surrounding. Like if these things are not really there, the brain tries to really get confused literally. So the processing of a particular brain happens only through sense organs. Now these information, when they go to the brain, they actually go via the nervous system, the nerves precisely. And when a newborn baby is actually present out there, when these sensors are or sense organs are activated, it tries to observe the surrounding and multiple information keep on going. Now there is a beauty about human body working over here, and this was spoken years ago in Gurukul system. Look at this. It says that whenever there is an information, got by a particular baby or a newborn human being, it tries to actually bridge gaps. Now, what do you mean by bridging gaps? For example, a newborn baby sees two different objects. Just imagine, for a brain to process that these two objects are different, it's actually not that easy. When multiple objects are seen with different shapes and patterns, the brain tries to process it. When it tries to process it, okay, these are all different shapes, it actually happens through something really amazing that's present in our brain called as neurons. Let me show this. Now, when these are not actually connected to each other, they're actually called as a synapse. You can actually put it on the chat if you know what exactly synapse means. So, synapse is basically a gap between two neurons that tries to get bridged with multiple information. Now, more these synapses are bridged with each other, better is the processing speed of a particular brain. And a synapse can be properly bridged with each other only with multiple information from different sources, or else from different sense organs. And that is the reason people say that experiential learning involves multiple sense organs, and that is the reason it is more effective in coming to a conclusion. Maybe these things are a little bouncy, but I really would like to show you the science. Yeah, connection in the brain, you're absolutely correct, through neurotransmitters. Let's look into this amazing animation, and that will give you a very good understanding of what a synapse is. And I would like to share my screen for that. Here we go. Watch this. This is definitely a game changer for most of the teachers out there to understand how a brain actually performs and works. And this is how it looks like.
Vasu sir, the audio is not audible.
Onward. Or communicate with each other, relaying messages throughout your body and powering all of your thoughts and actions. Neurons talk to each other using both electrical and chemical signals. Messages start as electrical signals traveling rapidly down a neuron. These signals are called action potentials. When they reach the gap between two neurons, the messages need some help to get across. The information is transformed from an action potential into a chemical message, which crosses the gap called a synapse. The release of those chemical messengers can trigger an action potential in the neuron on the other side of the synapse, conveying the message onward. Or it can quiet the message. This happens over and over and over. And with repeated activity, the synapse gets stronger, so the next message is more likely to get through. That way, neurons learn to pass on important messages and ignore the rest. This is how our brains learn and adapt to an ever-changing world.
So that was with respect to a synapse. Now, what's really important here is when we talk about a synapse, just imagine what are the synapses that are connected for you. A particular individual who is into a learning process, it could be anyone, and learning happens lifelong. It's about the observation. For example, a child who is interested in, say, cars and automobiles, basically, will have a better understanding of uh, pollution in the city, better understanding of the wheels and how they actually work, better understanding of different types of locomotives out there, or renewable and non-renewable resources of energy and things like that. So when we talk about a particular topic, trying to give examples from what they know is really important, and that's what integration is all about. The moment we talk about a person who is really like, let's talk about the topic of circle or spiral learning. Now, a mother who has got the ability of making dosas in the kitchen will have better understanding of circles and spiral shapes. A person who talks about, say, patterns in nature can have better understanding about astronomy and different shapes and patterns out there in the sky. We can give any example to anyone, but what really matters over here is the exposure to that particular zone, to exposure to that particular discipline. Now here again, when we talk about multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach, that is the definition that's given after a very long time. But what really matters over here is the synapses. If the synapses are bridged properly, more the synapses, better is the process of judgment. Now that is the reason we are getting into the technicalities of integration rather than talking about what interdisciplinary approaches. And in order to support this point, some people had just a dosa, I guess. In order to support this point, I would really like to continue the video by talking about the Gurukul system. Why the system was happening in a forest? Why was it mixed with the nature? How does the environment actually influence a particular learner's ability to bridge the synapse and come to a conclusion? And for that, this particular video will be really good. And let me share my screen.
Neuron
The Gurukul system of education was the primary education system in ancient India. In the Gurukul system of education, students went to the teacher's house and request them to teach. If Guru accepts the students as his Shishya, then the student stays at the Guru's place itself and Guru mentored them in all their activities. The advantage of this system was that it created a very good bond between the teacher and his students. Students also learned how to run a family and gained insights on how to deal with society. The current education system and the teachings they are provided today are very different from the ones in the ancient Gurukul system. The Gurukul system of education was widely followed in ancient India, and the country was not lesser than the other nations. In fact, India was the one which gave the world zero, and it was Indians who first quoted that Earth was round in shape. There was also a mention in ancient literature about the Viman, which we today know as the aircraft. In fact, the Indian system of medicines was also very highly developed, and they had known surgery techniques where they could do surgery. This was the system of education prevalent in India around 5000 BC. During the Vedic age, when values of living a cultured life and discipline were given higher priority, this system was widely practiced. The home of the guru or the teacher was referred to as the Gurukul, and the student resided there until they completed their education. Equality for all the students was a major priority for the Gurukul, and both the Shishyas and the Gurus resided at the same place, which created a stronger bonding. The relationship between the students and the teachers was really sacred, and no fees was even charged by the Gurus. Instead of fees, students paid their respect in the form of Guru Dakshina, as the remark for thankfulness to the teacher. The Gurukul system of education emphasized on the all-round development of the students. Unlike today, that was a sacred time when teachers were considered as next to God and were given immense respect. In order to keep the students closer to nature mostly, the classrooms were also located in the forest areas. Practical science was also given due importance. However, then it was not about securing good marks, but about learning the best. The concept of homework was also not present, and this helped the students in focusing more on the learning skills. Also, unlike the modern days, the craziness for ranks did not exist. The Gurukul system taught students about ethics and practical values. Practical teaching were given greater importance as compared to the theoretical concepts which dominate today. The aim was to inculcate, identify, and nurture individual skills and not a rat race towards good scores. The art of living was taught to the students, and in return for these great teachings, students paid their teachers the Guru Dakshina. This great system of education unfortunately vanished in India after 1835. This was replaced by the modern system of education by Lord Macaulay to make the education system more uniform. However, the modern education system is more of a rat race where the crucial teachings of personality, moral consciousness building, and ethical training are completely missing. Rather than holistic training that must be offered to the students, the institutional concept is majorly commercialized nowadays. Important skills including physical training are either missing or are given very less importance, which hampers the overall development of the students. Overall, the major ideology behind the ancient Gurukul system was to emphasize the importance of the overall development of the student that can help them in leading a balanced life. These important aspects of life must be taught to the students from a very young age itself. This would help them in making uniformed and better decisions on their lifestyle, work, routine, and overall matters in life. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you liked it, like.
So that was with respect to the Indian monk video on Gurukul system. Now, when we started actually, researching about the idea of integration, it went deeper and deeper and deeper. It was so deep rooted in Indian culture and heritage that there was hardly any document actually documented by any other country out there at that particular timeline. So there is a huge pride that as a teacher, we can definitely take that the origin of probably integrated learning happened in India. But surprisingly, the Upanishad document also mentions something really interesting. And this actually came up with one of the activities. And that activity is you can close your eyes, but you can't deactivate them. You can probably shut your ears, but you can't deactivate them. Now, these sense organs are always in a mission to get information regularly, constantly. It could be from any sources. If you just close your eyes, probably somewhere you're not receiving the information from your eyes, but the ears just got little more alert. Your skin got little more alert. That is why it's very difficult for us to continuously probably close our eyes and walk. I think you would have done that as a child. I do not know if you do that. Like, how far can I walk by blindfoldedness? And you'll see that there was an activity, uh, and it's more like a game. I do not know what is it called as in various parts of the country, where it's like you deliberately blindfold and you try to catch your friends, and you have to actually, hop and do that with only one leg. What is it called as in your region? You can put it on the chat if you know that. It's like हमारे यहाँ पे तो लंगड़ी कहते थे, but लंगड़ी के साथ साथ you have to blindfold as well. So I don't really know the name. Akmicholi, again, both the legs are on the ground, right? Langdi is, yeah, Koshimbir was one, another, Andhadi Koshimbir was another name. Langdi, yeah, something like that. So here it was not something that the children actually made, just in the household. It was part of the education system. It was to give importance to all the sense organs. Now, if you look into just not Langdi, if you talk about any other game as well, you'll see that one of the sense organs or the two of the sense organs were actually deliberately deactivated. I mean, for that particular moment, so that the focus is on the other aspects of, getting information. Another fascinating step also, exactly, just to improve their sense of physical reception. Ananya ma'am, you're absolutely correct. Langri tang, exactly, Mala ma'am. There was another interesting activity, and that was again, the board games. The board games also played phenomenal role in calculation of boxes. In fact, the whole of Mahabharat is based on that, right? You know that Mahabharat, and in fact, even Ramayana has got a lot of references of board games. Now, when we talk about Mahabharat, Ramayana, these are some of the stories that at least I know right now with the research that I could find out that were dated quite a long time back, speaking on receiving information. It's said that when sense organs are working in harmony, when our body organs are working in harmony together to get information, where did the concept of disintegration actually happen? It was never about disintegrated learning. It was all about integrated learning. It is about getting information through these five areas. That's it. And that's how the elements of nature were also categorized. I think you know that, right? The earth, the space, the fire, the water, and then the air. So even the Panch Pandavas we talk about in Mahabharata, or it's all about the five elements of nature. So where actually disintegration happened, nobody knows about it. There was never a concept of let us learn about mathematics today. It was always the concept of let us learn about patterns today. And that is why somewhere very nicely in NEP new education policy, even in national curriculum framework, they stopped calling it out as subjects and they started calling it out as curricular areas. I think you know about that as well. There are 8 curricular areas under which our learning is going to get categorized from the academic year 25-26. And the subjects are mandatory till 9 and 10. And probably one particular discipline could be chosen, or 4 can be chosen. There's a pattern in 12th standard. So getting an insight of Gurukul system back into our education system is one of the most brilliant moves of NEP or National Curriculum Framework. But what we are here to understand is all these is happening only because of this concept of integration being present in Gurukul system. There are multiple methods with which we can actually get into integration. The other day, one of the teachers in one of the classroom observations, she was giving an example of convex lens, and this was quite interesting. Convex lens looks like an idli. No, I didn't expect that coming at all. Now, idli getting compared with complex lens, circles getting compared with dosas can happen only in India. And especially a teacher who is, running the home and running the school, something like that. And there was another example which was very nicely mentioned by a primary grade teacher talking about the CPA methodology, which is called as concrete, pictorial, and then abstract. I think you know that as well. This is mentioned in foundational literacy and numeracy as well, where it speaks about whenever we want to talk about, say, numbers, rather than telling the children of age 4 or 5, that 5 is called as 5. They come up with 5 apples, which is like concrete. The students can actually take them, they can feel them, they can actually measure its size and shape. That's concrete, something that they can feel it. Second is pictorial, where actually they represent apple in the form of a drawing on a particular board, or it could be a video or audio. That's with respect to the pictorial. And then we get into the details of abstract, where we actually write the numbers, but we don't directly write the numbers. We probably put a line 1 2 3 4, converting an actual apple in the form of lines. Now this has got nothing to do with mathematics, at least in the initial days, but the way it is integrated, this tally mark is another very good yeah, numbers are just a symbol. Now, this is actually called as CPA method. Suppose if you're a primary teacher, this is heavily used. You can actually Google about it. It's even mentioned in the toy-based pedagogy. There's another very good document, again, toy-based pedagogy, where they talk about indigenous toys in the sense that are developed in India and used back in those days. And when we call those days, it's actually the Gurukul system that at least I am referring to right now. So these are some of the examples where the integration has happened. But there are 7 methods that are mentioned. I'm really sorry that I did not put it on the presentation. You can please make a note of it. The first method with which integration can happen. Now, I'm completely referring to National Curriculum Framework. Based on that, you can actually take a note of and probably implement in the upcoming year. In fact, it's going to become more like a mandatory lesson plan. The first one is called as buddy teaching. I think you all know about it. It's like one classroom and you've got multiple teachers sitting across of different subjects. Ideally, they're not supposed to be called as subjects. It's going to be different curricular area and explaining about one particular topic. It could be anything. You talk about circle, you talk about water, its relevance in geography, water, its reference in English, literature, and poet. It could be Hindi, some of the old poems, basically English language, and other subjects. So multiple teachers, different subject teachers, talking about one element called as water, or topic called as water. This is called as buddy teaching. Buddy teaching always need not mean that only 2 teachers are present. It could be 3 or 4 teachers as well. Storytelling is a very good idea, mentor-mentee sort of. You're absolutely correct. The second is something really very effective and more commonly observed in higher classes, called as excursions and industrial visits. I think you know that taking the children to a real environment where the application of a particular concept is dealt with. Now, here it's imperative, and I think it's important for a teacher to go along with the students for these visits and explain the concepts. But what's really important, if all the 5 teachers or you know 5 disciplines travel along with the children, and for example take the students to some factory making a biscuit or baking a biscuit factory, or it could be an automobile factory where the cars are getting developed or manufacture. If all these 5 disciplines can do a little bit research and all of them speak during the industrial visit, that's going to be really amazing. Even if we do not do that, the students still try to bridge the synapse. It's all about the brain end of the day. So that's the second method, is something that's I find most of the schools in India actually do it. In case if anybody wants to do it in any location, do contact me. I've got good relationship with some good organizations, so can actually take you to various industrial visits. That's the second pedagogical style, which is called as excursions or industrial visit. Okay, the first one is buddy teaching. The second is excursion or industrial visit. The third is project-based learning approach, where the students are given an open-ended question. For example, climate change, and they need to do a project work on that. Now, here it is important for the students to divide themselves into multiple disciplines and then do a research and combine them to solve a particular problem. Now, this is again quite often used in multiple times, and even in NCF it mentions. Uh, oh, that's a great point. Give your lunch to needy persons by students. That's really a great point. I've found that in Gurukul system as well. Fourth is something that has become very common and prevalent after the pandemic, and you know that's called as technology integration. Technology integration was not really considered a big thing before the COVID, before the pandemic, because it was never a necessity, or we never felt the requirement. But it's a nice thing where the blended learning, the concept of flipped classroom became very prevalent and common under this particular pedagogy called as technology integration. And here also we can bridge a lot of synapses. Let's go to the next one. Now this is called as multiple pedagogies. Some of you might already know that. Multiple pedagogies come up with this concept of explaining one concept with multiple styles. And for this, they also used a very nice term called as station approach. It's like there are 4 stations in a classroom. First station is where the teacher explains everything to the students. It's like all the students are hearing from the teacher. Second station is about research. They all go to a particular corner of the class and they do the research with a computer or discuss ideas with each other. The third station could be something related to an activity, a project that the students can do. And the fourth station is presentation of an idea to solve a problem. Now, this is just called a station rotation. This particular term is used very commonly in blended learning. I think you know about it. We spoke about it in some other session. Now, this is coming under the category of multiple pedagogies. That is the next one. Another is something really nice. I do not know how many of you do that, but I do it very commonly, called as analogy teaching. Now, analogy teaching is very, very effective. It's like comparing something else that the students already know with something that they can actually relate with what is present in the textbook. For example, when we talk about I think we cited this information as well, symbiotic relationships. It's about multiple people sitting together, collaborating with each other for one common benefit. It's just like, in the textbook, they talk about multiple living organisms living, coexisting together for everyone's benefit. It's present in grade 7 science, if I'm not wrong. And it can be also seen in the staff room, actually. It's like one teacher is absent. Okay, let me take the substitution for that. Sometimes we do get irritated. Probably that's called as parasitic relationship, where, it's like one person is living in another person's place, but actually not for the benefit, but to spoil them, exploit them. So these are analogy teachings. And this is also another term called as jugaad. I think you know this term. In India, it's quite common. Jugaad can actually really happen very well when if you want to solve a particular problem, you don't actually go with the traditional approach of solving it, because it's either quite expensive, or it's like you really have to, spend a lot of time in following the right procedure. But you just use instead, something else to, it's like your car ka window. Have you seen this? This is quite common in India. Suppose if you have a wet towel or something like that, and if you want to dry it and you're driving, so what people do, they actually hang it in the window and they close the windshield basically, and the towel flies and gets dried. And you can see this in villages, you can see in tier 2 cities, because in cities it's actually not allowed. It's actually against the policy. I have done it sometimes, when you have a baby. I mean, these are quite effective. Well, the point here is to prevent from sunlight, you can still do it. In trains also we do it. You're absolutely correct. So this comes up with the concept under analogy teaching. Now, if you look into all these terminology and if you research about it, well, whatever was already present in India, whatever we have already been doing, has been rewritten by various universities from various other countries and put as if that's invented by them. Well, this is happening in our day-to-day life. I just want to cite that. Finally, the last, something called a central topic tool. Now, this is distribution of old books in children, they're not purchasing. Yes, you're right. Another important point is the central topic tool, where a teacher can write. This is more related to mind mapping methodology. It's like you write a particular concept and you just bubble it out. And after bubbling it out, you try to relate this with other subjects. For this, I have one of my favorite mentors called as, I would like to show the screen and represent it over a video. Now, this particular methodology has been found to be very, very effective for teachers and the students to understand the central topic tool. Let me share my screen, teachers, and give you an idea what exactly we're talking about. And this is also called a interdisciplinary approach. Here we go.
Hi, we will be discussing about the interdisciplinary approach. This term was coined in the 1930s but is creating a lot of buzz these days. Let's see how to apply this approach to make learning fun and engaging. So in the words of Heidi Hayes Jacobs, interdisciplinary approach is a knowledge view and curriculum approach that consciously applies methodology and language from more than one discipline to examine a central theme, topic, issue, problem, or work. Students learning in this way are able to apply the knowledge of one discipline into another discipline as a way to deepen the learning experience and application in real world. Here we have different subjects from grade 6, and let's see how do we apply interdisciplinary approach with them. We start by taking interdisciplinary hexagon and then place the various subjects around it. So we have English, Hindi, mathematics, history, geography, science, political science, regional language, and computer or IT. We start by taking concept in the center. So here I am taking an example of circle which is taught in grade 6, and let's see the interlinking with the various subjects. In English, there is a chapter, The Old Clock Shop. So it talks about clocks which are circular. In Hindi, there is a chapter, Chand se thodi si gappe. Again, moon is circular. When we talk about mathematics, there is a chapter, Understanding Elementary Shapes. Now it talks a lot about circles. In history, in the earliest cities, there is a description of seals, coins, the wheel, the mouth of the well, or the halo around Gautam Buddha to show his enlightenment. In geography, we talk a lot about the latitudes and the longitudes. In science, there are a lot of references to the circle, like in the chapter Motion and Measurement of Distances and Electricity and Circuits. So there are circular paths on the windmill, the earth, the magnets, the cell which has one of the end as a disc, or the wheel which puts the entire world into motion. When we talk about political science, we have urban administration talking about recycle, reduce and reuse, which again is a circular concept. When we see the regional language, we have circle which can be explained in Vrit in Kannada, Chakra in Punjabi, Vattam in Tamil, Vritto in Bangla, and circle in Malayalam. When it comes to computer science or IT, it can be made far more interesting with the help of coding. So we can have the students make a circle on the computer. It is not mandatory that the teachers only have to do it. We can even have students do it and the teacher facilitates the discussion. A single grade may have multiple concept linkages, and we as educators can regularly do this exercise to achieve deeper learning levels and at the same time make learning fun and engaging. Thank you for watching this and stay tuned.
That was a central topic tool with which we can derive things. But the importance of this particular video is I wanted to emphasize that whatever topics we're talking about or whatever lessons we're talking about, this integration has already been established by our NCERT books. Government of India was or the state focus groups and national focus groups, they were always aware that this integration has to be established in the book itself. But the disconnect is at the place where the teacher training did not really happen properly for them to tell that this is where the integration has actually happened. The moment the teachers are aware, my topic over here is directly related to her topic over there, like two teachers talking to each other, then there's going to be a lot of collaboration. That's where the realization happens. Oh, it's already there. Let me try to combine that. So giving examples from other subjects is always a catch for a student. It's like, oh, ma'am is talking about science. Oh, ma'am is talking about social, but this is actually an English period. Something like that. Now, the central topic tool is more like a flowchart, as you rightly said. And the point here is it's already established as a concept in all our books. It's important for a particular teacher to actually have all the NCERT books present in front of her in her home, whatever subjects you're teaching, in his or her home, by the way, and need to have that points connected. It's like bridge those connection. Where are the progression? And you'll be surprised to see that there's an amazing pattern. Chapter number 2 of science will have some connection with chapter number 2 of mathematics, then probably chapter number 2 of social science. And once we all sit together and come up with an activity to do that, then buddy teaching is becoming more interesting. Central topic tool could be one very good tool with which we could do that. Like a flow chart we can do with, or mind mapping we can do with that. Finally, we're coming to the last part of the session to talk about actually in reality how all of these exist. And for that, I actually came across one statement, and I'm not sure how much it's actually applicable, but for me, it makes a lot of meaning. If you're convinced with this, then you can actually follow this. So it said that social studies is actually the concept of applied psychology. It's like talking about people, talking to people, and studying about it. It's like everything about that is about people, right? So it's like social studies is applied psychology. And psychology, which is all about the brain and the way we think, is applied biology, right? Somewhere. Biology is applied chemistry. I think we would have heard about this statement in the past. And chemistry is applied physics. Now, chemistry, we talk about the electrons and protons, the way they revolve around the nucleus, or, you know, the neutrons presence within an atom. That's amazing, which is all about physics. But physics is all about numbers. So physics is applied mathematics. Now, you need to apply all these things and understand these only with languages. Hence, without any of these things, the learning is actually kind of incomplete. A teacher beginning with biology should complete the cycle till social studies, like chemistry, physics, mathematics, then go to social, then psychology and biology. It's important. Likewise, physics has to go around with maths, then probably social science, then psychology, biology, and chemistry, something like that. Well, the disintegration somewhere happened. We need to work towards bringing back the integration. So, in this particular session, we really did not want to talk about what is interdisciplinary or cross or multidisciplinary approach. Rather than that, establish the fact that integration was always present. Somewhere things got disintegrated. So that's it from my side, teachers. It was great interacting with one and all. The major aspect of a teacher saying that, ask this particular doubt to science teacher because this is a science question is kind of a criminal statement that we are making to the students. It's not supposed to happen. Yeah. Anyways, looking forward to interact with all of you for another topic on another session. The same topic of art of integration will be way more elaborated after looking into the question papers of 10th and 12th standard board, because it's completely on competency based education. Competency is all about combining multiple disciplines and knowledge in order to solve a particular problem, right? Especially knowledge, skills, and attitude. So we'll be getting on this with again in the month of May or June, but in a detailed manner. Also, for all the teachers who are yet to complete the 25 hours of CPD program, in case if you're interested, you can join the CPD training, which is going to happen from next Monday onwards. And the link is actually coming on the chat. You can actually enroll for it. If you ask for the fees, it's as per the CBSE norms of rupees 100 per hour per teacher. So 25 hours, it would cost approximately 2,500 rupees. And in case if anyone comes and joins as a school, then I can definitely work out on the pricing and we can complete the 25 hours. I think March 15th, before that, we need to complete it, right? I don't know. This is what I heard from some people, but I haven't seen any circular as such. So please check that. And if interested, you can join. And the date would be 26th onwards. 26th of February onwards, the sessions are starting. Yeah, that's it. So the link is coming on the chat, the CPD link and the reflection form. You can fill it up and we'll meet you again in the next Super Sunday workshop with another interesting topic. Thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. Jai Hind. The certificate for the last Super Sunday workshop, you will be getting it in the next 2 or 3 days. It got delayed a little bit, but yes, you'll get it in the next 2 or 3 days. By Wednesday, everyone should receive the last week's Super Sunday workshop certificates. If there is any question or any query, you can put it on the chat, teachers. I'll be here for another 5 minutes. Thank you so much, teachers. With this workshop, if the takeaway is something, I would request everyone to research a little bit about Gurukul system. You will understand the art of martial arts as well. Considering a wide range of audience, I really didn't talk about martial arts, but martial arts have still followed in many Asian countries, and somewhere because of colonialization and globalization, a lot of things somewhere got, I should say, diluted. Yes. Yes, Sushmita ma'am, for sure. The workshop is actually live streamed on YouTube as well. You can visit Super Teacher official YouTube channel and you'll get to see the playlist. Under that column, you'll see Super Sunday workshop. Today it's 48th Super Sunday workshop. Yeah. Thank you, Anusha ma'am. Thank you so much. Yeah, India is really good. Lovely, Ramya ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shanta ma'am. Thank you. Some methods that I missed discussing is, in order to improve the brain synapse, it's like try to do things little ulta. Ulta, literally ulta. Now, for example, if you have the habit of brushing your teeth on the right hand, try to do with your left hand. That's really amazing. That was one thing. Then another thing they spoke about, if you have, whenever you cycle, try to cycle reverse as well. That's not a difficult task, but do that. Also, in India, we also have this nice system of, temples where a bell is held by the pujari and you have got the aarti on the right hand. Now, it's actually very difficult to, do both of these simultaneously. It's like, try doing it. It's kind of difficult. So both the arms having different activities. It's very difficult. People have a term called as ambidextrous, right? It's like a new terminology, but we have been doing it for a long time. Another fascinating thing was playing a musical instrument with both the hands. It could be a flute or a pipe or something like that. These are some of the small activities that you can do in your day-to-day life in order to improve your synapses. India never had a problem of mental disabilities in the later age. For example, Alzheimer's disease. Now there was like, it's about forgetting things. We hardly had this. Why? Because our lifestyle was into brain development all the time through these sense organs. So I really believe that if you can come up with these activities in your day-to-day life, it's like, if you're there into dosa, I mean, I really like making dosas. Getting that exact circle is so difficult. If you are good at right hand, try your left hand. Yeah, better try after your meal, so that you don't really waste your time in figuring out how to do it. But yeah. Yes, Bharati ma'am, definitely. I need the exams to get completed, ma'am, to for me to have a better research approach. We would definitely have a session on what are the changes to be followed for the upcoming academic years, based on the new policies and new framework and things like that. We'll keep having it. Yeah. The certificates of last Sunday, you will definitely receive it in another three days time. Yeah. The skill of leaving both the hands and riding a cycle or a bike is again very nice. Do not discourage the children. Let them fall. That's okay. And let them get up. Probably, lets them have a safe environment and let them do it. But it's important. Thank you, Hema ma'am. Thank you, Shipra ma'am. Ma'am, central topic tool. Garima ma'am, it's called as the central topic tool. You can research about it, which is more like a mind mapping strategy in order to have integration done. Dheeraj sir, do message me which certificate you're talking about. If it's the last week certificate, you need to wait for another 2 to 3 days. It'll be done within this week, Hema ma'am. Thank you, Tamanna ma'am. You're right. Thank you, Shirin ma'am. Oh, you often try these things. Okay. There'll be definitely a workshop on annual pedagogical plan, APP, for the next year. Let's see what new things the government comes up with and what we could do. Let's see. Dr. Gitanjali. Sure, ma'am, for sure. Wait a minute. Thank you, Diana, ma'am. Super Sunday workshops will continue forever. Sometimes it could be from interview perspectives. Sometimes it could be from lecture perspectives like this. But every Sunday, 10 to 11, there's going to be a talk on education system, providing value and exposure to all the education fraternities out there. It's mandatory. It's mandatory for me. Yes, Anulupa ma'am, we've actually kind of done. Let's do it. Sure, Anulupa ma'am. Eventually, art integration come more examples. Let's do it. Ritu ma'am, great. Some of you would have received the certificates. Yes, Dr. Geetanjali, this recording will be available in YouTube. Just message me, I shall share the link. Early childhood care and education, Anjana ma'am, yes, there's another development that has happened. We'll talk about that as well. Different type of education system. One of them is Montessori education system. What exactly Montessori is, we're going to talk about that. That's going to be probably in the next Sunday, if I'm not wrong. I need to check with the team members, and we shall do that. We shall do that as well. Yes, Deepali ma'am, pedagogies. Thank you, Dr. Geetanjali ma'am. Thank you so much. Yes, some of you would be Montessori trained people. Amazing, Nisha ma'am. Let's see what Montessori has for us. Probably the next Sunday or the following Sunday. That's great. Thank you, Dheeraj sir. Thank you so much. Saloni ma'am, thank you so much. So let me close for the day, teachers. I shall meet you in another Super Sunday workshop in another super topic. Until then, thank you so much. Bye, everyone. CPD session timings are 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, Monday to Friday. It will happen 12 days. CPD session timings are 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the evening, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday holiday for 12 days. So it would range to 2 weeks approximately for 24 hours. It will extend to 25 hours actually. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.